wanted to post similar things and just like jokes, like not even that serious, but like constantly like when your customer asks for like a discount, and then it sucks because I've had people and it's like no, it's not you though. Like that was fine. there's like way more extreme cases.
Yeah, man, and it's always been like
This is a magnet, right?
yeah, or you can just connect it to your. It don't matter. Yeah, the magnet's fine. As long as this thing is like pointing at you, then you're good.
Pointing up.
Yeah, but I just wanted to have you on, man. It's recording, by the way, so.
You say hello?
Yeah, if you want, man, you could. So I try to just start everything like. Try not to do any crazy introductions or anything.
Okay.
Now I'm nervous that the thing's on.
Yeah. I was nervous when you were driving here, so now we're both nervous.
Well, I appreciate you honestly letting me in your house because when you said, I was hoping, I'm like, man, where the hell am I going to film it? I have nowhere to film it until I get my office spot, and then I can like bring people in. And then when you're like, oh yeah, we could do it here, but it's probably not the best place. And I'm like, well, we can just press record and then it's done. That's it.
Yeah. No, I'm really actually comfortable in my home setting. Honestly, this is where I do everything. Like my office is literally behind me. You probably can't see it on the camera, so whether it's your office, this is technically my office.
Oh, heck,
you know.
Well, I appreciate you letting me in, man.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I remember seeing your first videos. I think you were in the desert somewhere, like making funny videos, or you were
Dancing?
doing something. I think it was dancing in the desert.
Okay.
And then I was at the farmer's market, and that's when I first met you in person. You're like, hey, what's up, bro? Tom Roman. I said hi, and I was like, huh, yeah. And I was like, you look familiar, but Roman never mentioned who you were. And then I'm like, are they cool? Like, because the way you said it was like, oh, you didn't say it in a bad way, but I was like, is he like saying something that I don't know about? So I told Roman, like, do you know that one guy? And I was like, trying to look him up.
Yeah.
He's got tattoos, and he was like, farmer's market. He's like, I think Cisco, and I was like, oh, I think so. I don't know. And he was looking up. I was like, yeah. He said, what's up? He's like, oh, hell yeah, man. Him and I go way back. I'm like, oh, that's what's up.
Yeah. See, Roman was cool because I met him through my younger sister. Like they're all that kind of same age group, and that's when I was doing music and reaching out to do a music video. But he was so funny because I'd never like really shot a music video before. So when I met him, I was like, hey, how's it going? My name's Cisco. I was like, and he shook my hand. And that was it. I was like, what was your name? He's like, don't worry about that right now. It's good. Yeah, he's like, it's good business. I was like, whoa. But it threw me so much, it threw me off so much that I was like, he's right though. It doesn't even matter. Like we just got to do this. But he was super cool. He like took care of it.
Dang, that's pretty crazy how like the high desert's so like, I wouldn't say small, but it's just connected with a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know one business owner or someone, and then they know someone else, and it's like, I wouldn't say you always have to watch for your reputation, but you just notice like the word can spread on who you know.
Mm-hmm. Real fast. I know a lot of people think too, like you said, like the high desert's small. I like think the world's small too though, because everyone's connected. Whether it's here, you can know family that's in LA, and it spreads real fast all over California, and like the bigger you are, obviously United States. And I noticed like, because I've done certain things, and then it just gets to like other people real fast.
Like bad or good?
No, good.
Okay.
Yeah, like even when I was like doing social media videos, like trying to do like the funny thing, I wasn't like necessarily viral, but people down the hill were like, "Oh yeah, I've seen your video before." And I was like, "What the heck? Like, how does that even happen?"
When was this? What year was this?
During COVID.
Oh, okay, 2020.
During COVID, yeah.
Okay.
That's when I first started like pushing out the videos more. And,
okay.
You're home trying to like do something.
How many kids did you have at that time?
2? Yeah, 2.
2?
Yeah, 2.
Where are you at now?
3.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 kids. My oldest is 13, 7, and my 2-year-old.
Okay. How was that like starting, like when you had 2 kids? Like, oh, they're gonna see this online? Or you didn't think about that?
Well, I didn't think about that at all. It only got weird when it did get weird real fast because I'm being silly online. I'm doing all these dances, and then in my apartment complex, the little kids would go like on TikTok, and then they'd be like, "Hey," they'd tell like my daughter, like, "I seen your dad on TikTok doing a video. He's funny," and then she'd be embarrassed, like, "Oh, Jesus," So then I started being like more conscious too about what I'm putting out there. And I'm like, oh, this can go real fast.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, real weird. I was like, okay.
And that's what I worry about because my kids are young right now. So
yeah,
I'm like, all the stuff that I do, like sometimes it goes over the line. Like, come on, really?
Yeah.
So it's like, man, if I keep it up when they get older, like they're gonna get, hey, your dad's that person, you
Yeah.
know? And I'm like, but not that it's bad because I have a targeted audience, so there's like specifically like videographers and business owners.
Yeah.
But I can understand with like one of my viral videos, if I do continue to go viral, like go to their friends in high school or middle school, it's like having that problem, you know?
Yeah.
Or I don't know, did you feel like it was a problem when she told you?
No, no, only in the sense that I did have some like risque comedy, and then I was like, oh shoot, like I just didn't want to be like recognized for that. So it was kind of weird for me because then it made me second guess my content, and then as a creator, that's not like the best thing to do. But it made me evaluate it. And I was like, okay, I want my kids to just go for things too, because like same thing, like I don't want to censor myself completely.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was trying to teach them like, okay, go for whatever you feel like makes you creative, but remember that's also your name on the line. Like
That's what you teach them right
I'm
now?
trying to. I'm trying to. I mean, they're kids. Like
Yeah.
they pick up what they want.
But do they post content like that on social media or no?
My daughter's I believe she's a secret social media content person.
Okay.
Yeah, because when she first made TikTok, I didn't know she's making videos until I seen a couple, and I was like, okay, but she tries to keep me away from that.
But were you okay with it, or you
Yeah,
were
I'm
just,
okay. With,
oh,
yeah, I'm
okay.
okay with the video. Yeah, completely. Honestly, I push them. I try to encourage all that. Yeah, because as you know, I don't know how you were growing up, but for me, I wasn't really pushed creatively.
Yeah.
My mom did like teach me to like draw when I was like upset when I was younger, but once I got older, it was more like, oh, do something that's gonna make you money, do something, that kind of sort.
Yeah.
So I always drew, and I like music, so I wanted to be more creative, but I just never got encouraged until like being adult. You see everyone can do it now, so now I'm like, oh, I could do it. And sometimes it feels like it's too late, but I'm like, no, it's never too late.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, okay, I can instill this in my kids, but I feel like it's kind of pushing them away almost too. Like, I think I'm being super supportive, like in the same sense that someone's like, be a doctor, pushes them away. And then me, I'm like, you could be a YouTuber, you can be a DJ, I don't care,
Yeah.
Still, they're just like, they just want to have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of hard to teach because I always struggle, like in my head, like, how am I going to teach my daughters and my son that you can use social media, but like I would want you to use it to like monetize it in a way, like
Yeah.
where you can not hustle or sell, like uh, I wouldn't say like not sex appeal, but more like, sell your service. Like if you draw, you can get people's attention by drawing and then get sponsored and then like equipment and all that.
No,
Or
I know. Yeah, I know what you're saying. You like sell yourself.
yeah, sell yourself and your passions. And it's kind of hard to like, I wonder how are they gonna respond to it. Like, I just want to use it for fun. I don't want to use it to make money.
And that's what it is. Cause like my daughter, she started being like artist. Right?
Yeah.
And then initially or like immediately, I was drawn to that. I was like, oh, she's doing drawing. Like, now's my chance to like encourage her, like give her the encouragement I didn't receive. But I felt like it backfired. I was like so ready for it. Not like pushing on her.
Yeah.
But I would see like an art show thing, and I'd be like, you should participate in it. You should try to do it. And immediately I noticed she was like, didn't like to do it for competition, and I was like, oh, okay. So I'm like, okay, well, you can make money like this, I can help you do a clothing brand, I'll Kickstarter for you, we can do it together. And I could just feel like more withdrawn. I'm like, this is like doing the opposite of what I wanted.
Yeah, because I feel like at that point it's like, this was an idea I had and I want to do it for fun, but now it's being taken serious.
Yeah.
Which we see the potential, like, if you do, I wouldn't say have to take it serious to that extent, but like, if you just continue to do it, then this could go somewhere.
Yeah, what I noticed though was that really it ended up just being like my ego.
Oh, okay.
My ego and my own insecurities, and like, it's like, oh, I could have been this. And then I'm like dumping into my kid. I'm doing, whether it's in a different aspect as creative, it's the same concept. So I just try to like let them do it. It's hard. It's hard to like watch your kids and just let them like live. You want them to like do good in school, and then it's like this holy mixture of like, obviously, you're an entrepreneur, I'm an entrepreneur. School is important, but I do know that it is also not needed in the future. Like you don't have to do college necessarily to make it now in today's world. So it's hard to like be honest about grades, but at the same time keep an open mind that even if they're not so great, she can still be great, you know. And it's kind of what I'm battling all the time. I got a teenager, man.
That's why I wanted to have this conversation with you, because I'm like, I see you have a family. I see you, you know, hustling with your businesses and you still being an online presence. And I'm like, okay, that's going to eventually be me, where my kids are going to get to where your kids are.
Yeah.
Like, how do you handle it? How do you work? How do you have work-life balance with your wife, and then work-life balance like being a husband, and then being a business owner,
Yeah.
and multiple businesses, by the way, not just one. And it trips me out, like, okay, you're doing it. Like, you're the person I need to, like, talk to, and, like, I wouldn't say, like, get advice from, but it's like, that's the kind of people you need to be around, because he knows. He can help. You can help me by not make these mistakes. Like, I wouldn't say you're pushing it on your daughter, but, like, that you're the encouraging on it. And it's like, okay, now I know, like, if it does come up, I can't force myself on it. Like, it just has to happen naturally with their passions. Because I'm going to get excited, like, well, I already know what to do on how to market this, and I'll know what to do. And then they're going to be like, "Ugh, I don't want to do it anymore because, like, you know it all. Or, like, geez, this was an idea I just opened up to you about. Like, I didn't want you to just come in and take over everything or try to help me out.
Yeah.
So that's something that definitely, like, stuck right now. And I was like,
Yeah. No, it's tough. It's tough because, yeah, like my daughter, for example, too. Like, she's a teenager, and I kind of like take it upon myself to learn kind of how like we all tick. I had to learn about myself first, which I'm learning. You know, we always got to learn about ourselves and like progress, not only like financially, and you know everyone's focused on fitness, but like mentally. So like I'm big on that, and sometimes as like a parent, I get this, how I grew up, like, you know, we shut our kids down sometimes. Like, no, I know more than you. I know more than you, right? So I'm trying to understand, trust me, I have like issues sometimes with my teenager. But I do know that sometimes, now that I'm learning about her, is like sometimes she doesn't want advice. She really doesn't, you know? Saying, you know how you're like, what am I going to do? And then like the only thing we can do is when they look for you and they say, hey, Dad, what would you... yeah, what would I do? Okay, cool, already. But that's the only time. Other than that, it's like they just want to like vent sometimes. And as much as you know, actually, I didn't really learn about it until my wife would do the same thing. She'd vent to me, and I want to be a problem solver. That's, as a man, I feel like you just want to problem solve. Like, oh, why don't you just do this? You could do it. And she's like, no, I'm not really coming here for solutions. And I would be so thrown off about it. Like, well, what are we doing? You know, like, but she just wanted to talk. And then same thing would apply with my daughter. I'm like, now she just wants to talk. She's not really coming for an answer. She just wants to like just talk.
is it like a man and woman thing? Because I feel the same way. Like, if I'm going to talk to you, like, I want solutions. Not like, give me the answer. It's like, well, help me if I'm venting to you.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to just vent to you, because then I feel like, oh, I'm just wasting your time by just not gossiping, but like opening up.
Yeah.
But I know I'm starting to learn as well with my wife, like, you know, opening up is good communication. I don't need to have her like give me an answer. It's just, that's how I feel in the moment. Just let me feel it, and
Yeah. It's hard, and it varies person to person. Because like you said, is it a man or woman thing? Like, you know, there's women that have a little more masculinity in them too. So maybe they are more go-getters too, and they, you know. But then you have men that maybe you're seeking a little more advice and help, and so it's just like a balance. And a balance doesn't necessarily mean like this. It can be that way. That's a balance. Whatever works for each individual.
How is it with like the different personality of your kids?
The different personality of my kids. Oh man.
Like, when you start learning, like, oh, like, I know now, like, even though they're young, like, for me, like, you can tell, like, they're just too different. But, like, once you start learning, like, okay, how could I be, like, there for each and every single one of them? Like, is a certain age, or is, like...
It's so hard.
I know, I'm trying to, like...
How many do you have?
I have 2 daughters, 4 and 2, and then my son that just got born.
Newborn. Okay, 4 and 2. That's
So
a
4
good
and
little
2,
age gap right there. Yeah.
Like 2 years,
But it's also really close because they're all 2 years apart. So mine are like super far apart.
Okay.
Super far apart. But we've been able to give them all their individual needs, right? Like my daughter, she's in her teen. Like she lived with us just by herself till the age of 6. My son too, he has his years, but it's hard. And the easiest thing I think is to like slip into neglecting one and just be honest about it. Because your teenager's the oldest. You're on her. It's like a prime age. All right. Influences in school, boys, grades, whatever the case is. And then you have my youngest, which is the baby. She's the more needy one. So sometimes it almost feels like my son, middle child kind of issue, right? He's just floating around, but he's so independent.
Yeah.
Like he really is. Like he can take care of himself. He's more aware. It's like my daughter's funny because she's like the oldest, but it's almost like she's like the baby.
Yeah.
Because she was the baby first. She had that first love. So in that sense, he's more independent. I could see him being more like just doing more things without having to be told. Like he just seems more driven. And my youngest she's 2 years old, but she seems wild. Wild. I don't know what's gonna happen with her. She's a wild card. She might become like a hippie or like a free spirit. I don't know yet.
So you just take it day by day, huh?
Day by day.
I think that's like the only best thing is just like you just have to take it day by day. There's no blueprint or anything to like, okay, when this person gets to age 2, because like everyone's just different personality.
I know you were talking about finding a balance right now. So I don't know if I'm supposed to ask questions.
No, you're fine. Yeah, hell yeah, whatever
Because
you want.
what is something? Because that's something I always like talking about myself is like balance. So I always like hearing like other people's balance. Because you're obviously a busy man too. I see you're doing content for like various companies. You're working on side projects. You got a podcast going on. You just had a baby. Mm-hmm. So what is like something you do for your balance, or what are problems you're having?
The most problem I have is just being unorganized with my time. I wouldn't say, time is getting a little bit more structured, but the fact like I'm just a wild card, which I thought that was always a good thing. Mm-hmm. Like I'll just pull up whenever, or I'll pull up the day of and I'll come up with content on the spot because I know how to do it, which I've been doing for so long. It's got me here, and I'm like, well, if it's not broke, don't fix it, or have to, so. Now I'm learning like I have to be more structured and strategic with clients and the work I do, because the way I was doing that is good for like the clients I have now, like 1 or 2, maybe 3. Mm-hmm. But if I want to like, be effective on all of them and maybe even get more, I need to be more structured with the system and okay, this many and this many, like a calendar, or like you have your calendar. I seen like that was the first thing I noticed over there. So the way I do it now is just like time blocking, kind of.
Yeah, I remember you were talking about the last one.
Time blocking is like, I've seen like the realtor. His name was David. Man, he taught me a lot of like psychological stuff about how to treat people, like sales, kind of. Time blocking was the most important. He taught me, like your 5-year plan, and I had no idea at the time. I was like lost and hopeless.
Yeah.
Single, or I was with my girl at the time, but it was, I had no kids. Just I do whatever I want, whenever I want. I work at wherever, it don't matter. So it was kind of hard to like lay out a plan, or even getting forced upon like, oh yeah, so what is your time? What is your goal? And it's like, why do I need to tell you? But it's more of a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
I don't know it, so like I rather just not even
just answer back. You answer
with
the
rather
question.
Flip it towards you. Like, why do you want to know? Like, you're not my dad, So,
you're not my dad. Blame shifting. That's kind of gaslighting right there.
Yeah. So I've had a big problem with gaslighting in the past. I'm getting a lot better at it.
Okay.
But time blocking, he taught me how to time block. He showed me like his calendar. Yeah, see, I already set time for you. That's why we're here talking. And then tomorrow I'm going to do this open house and then this. And I was like, damn, man. He showed me like a whole different like world of being structured and organized.
Okay.
The one thing that I always take away from that, he says that there's always 2 things on people's heads, like make me feel important and like what can you do for me? And it's like, it's not like what can you do for me? It's more like, how can I help you? Like, how can you help me and like make me feel important? And I've always like not like used that to like, okay, this is how I win people. It's just, yeah, how can I help you, bro? Like whatever it is, a video, whatever it is. You need me to help you move. You need me to help you move stuff, the junk or your other businesses that you have. So like, but I do that not because there's a strategic thing behind it. It's just I have the time. I have the free time. I see it like I get to know who you are. I get to see what you do. I get to learn. Oh, that's how a junk. Not, what did you say the service is?
I do professional junk removal.
Okay, so professional junk removal works, and how you do it, and how when I see others, that's how they do it. Like it's never like malicious at all. Like I need to figure out what's going on if I want to buy a business like that. It's more like I'm just learning. I'm just going in like a kid, kind of like, yeah, what are you guys doing over here? And like, oh, that's how you do it. That's what goes on, and then that helps me when I have a family. Like, oh yeah, do you know that you can just pay somebody to do that? Oh, there's somebody like, yeah, I can hook you up. I not hook you up. I know somebody that can take care of that.
Learning about all the trades and all the things that are out there for people.
Trades, whether it's blue collar or the dealership, college, whatever it is, it's like I get to be behind the scenes of that, but not having to be there.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing wrong with like, oh, I don't have to stay, or I stay there and I have to work there. It's just I get to come experience it and then go to another trade and experience that and then go to another trade.
It seems fun. I mean, I love watching what you do too. I'm like, just because, like entrepreneur life that's I think why we do it. Or I don't know, what actually got you into like film production?
So I would always just make funny content for myself and make my friends laugh.
Oh, I've seen them.
Yeah, that's it. Like
the original J. Cole.
Yeah, the
Power
J.
Trip.
J. Cole and Drake, like I did all the video, not all of them, but I did videos. It was just to make my friends laugh, and I just had like, that was my creative outlook. Like no one was really on my ass about, like, hey, you need to be going to school, you need to be doing this. Like I was just an average like C person. Like I only did enough where my mom's not on my butt because I live with my mom.
Yeah.
Like my parents are not on my butt, and the teacher is not on my butt. But I always had women teachers, so I was always like friendly with them. Like, oh, hey, yeah. And they're, oh, Andrew, you're such a good kid, man. Your mom raised you right. And it's like, I just knew like that I'm barely making it as a C average. I don't need to go above and beyond. My mom's not getting upset with me.
Yeah.
No one's on my butt. Like the standards were kind of low. Like, well, you're gonna graduate high school. We didn't. We were pregnant at that time, or
So
not.
that's all you needed to do then.
Yeah. So like that was my mindset. Like, well, as long as I'm not getting anyone pregnant and I'm not drinking or doing drugs, like I'm good. And that affected me long term because it was just like, being stagnant about it instead of like, apply yourself a little bit more.
Yeah.
And it was until like I was working with Huntington Films, it was like if you apply yourself more, then you start reaping, like more benefits to that, and you have more fun. You build skills to it.
Okay.
So that's where I skipped like a lot of years, but
yeah, I was like, so that was more recent then.
Yeah, like the past 2 years have been like learning that, hey, you apply yourself and you actually become a different person that you want to be. Mm-hmm. But before I met Roman, it was like I was at the Chevy dealership trying to make content for them because they let me do it. I was like, I'll do your social media for free at the Chevy dealership in Victorville.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was doing, like the same kind of skits, like appropriate. Like there's a lot of red tape with those companies, which is fine. So I'm like, you can only do so much to like, okay, this is only gonna get approved and nothing else.
To be creative.
Yeah, because I was dancing to some gangster music and they're like, you're crip walking. I'm like, I don't think that's crip walking, but they assumed it was, and it's like, that's not our audience. And I'm like, all right, well, you're selling Chevy Silverados. That's that's mostly your audience. But I mean, like the most of the like car shows, like the Mexican, like they have trucks.
Yeah, you have that culture. Yeah.
So that's how I've seen it because I've seen it myself. And then Roman noticed that, like, oh shoot, like who's doing this page? And then that's how that started. And then with Huntington Films.
From there. Right on. Okay, so you had already started doing your own on the side, and you guys linked together. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
That's how I was just making funny videos. I used to edit on Snapchat all the time.
Yeah, Snapchat. That's where I think I started too.
Snapchat before iMovie, before I had a Mac. Like I was just, let me just do on Snapchat, and I was just having fun on Snapchat doing that.
Yeah, I wish I had my original videos from when I was younger, because I started making them like 18 on YouTube, and there was no edits to it. It was just like one shot making this whole like video trying to be funny, but they just like, I don't know. I think I got like insecure one day and I deleted them. I was like, they're gone.
That's what usually happens, and then you regret it later. Like, man, I wish I would have just kept them so I can look back at myself. But you don't think, hey, like, I want to look back at this later. It's like, bro, I just don't want to face it anymore.
I don't want to face it. You know what? I think that's how I am now, too. Like, I have old TikToks where sometimes I'm like, oh, it's a little cringe. I'm like dancing. But at the same time, because I think about like famous people. Now that I'm famous, but the famous people that comes up to them, they start roasting them on social media. It gets really crazy on there. But I'm like, you know what? No, like I want these videos to come up and then show that this was each part of me, whether it was silly or like a bad side of me or, you know, old school, was it 2010 Facebook posts? Like what was I typing on? You know, and I've seen some pop up on my old page. I'm like, oh my God, you know, but that was me.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just how it is. You progress in life, and whether it's creativity, you know, creatively or just responsibly, I just gotta accept all points of it.
Yeah. And how do you balance your? How many businesses do you have running right now?
I don't balance, dude. No, no, I do. Businesses. Okay, so I just have the junk removal business actually. My wife owns Party Rentals, and then we do that together.
Yeah.
We do that together. We used to do funnel cakes though.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, that was actually my first going for it thing, right there. Was the funnel cakes. I started that in COVID. In the beginning of COVID, that was more like I don't know exactly how to say how it started. I knew I wanted to do a business like for a long time, and I was working in a warehouse in Fontana, and I've always been a hard worker, you know, type of thing. And there I was already a lead, running like shipping, production, all that kind of stuff. But I was like, I need to do something for myself. But what I wanted to originally do was transportation. Wanted a box truck. There was guys that would come pick up loads. I'm like, oh, I could do this. But the kickstart for it was a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, so I was like, oh, I can't do this. And then I don't know what it was actually. I was scrolling one day and then I saw some cooking video and they were making a funnel cake and it just like was like a light bulb in my head. It's like, I could do that. I don't even like funnel cakes. Honestly, I don't even like funnel cakes. And I was like, I can do that. And I just made one every day. I made one every day for like a whole month. And I was like, I'm going to try to sell these because COVID's down. There's no fair. And then I'm going to sell them. And sure enough, I like sold like one or two. And then I was like, I'm going to keep doing it every week until it picked up. And whatever, you know, it picked up. And then once that picked up and it started rolling and I saw like traction, it kind of like, that was like the kickstart for me, like in general, like figuring things out. You know, because I was like, oh, I can do this. And it was just such a taboo thing to me because it was like, I'm selling funnel cakes out of my apartment. That's why I started, you know, selling my apartment. But that's how I connected. So we used to do that. And that's how actually it led to trash hauling in a way. Because we were doing that. We started doing pop-ups. Once the apartment started dying down, we started doing pop-ups. And I had a Challenger at the time. I put a tow hitch on my Challenger. Like I had to get custom made, and I had a whole like trailer, and I would load everything up, and you know everyone would be like, "What's the guy have a trailer on his Challenger for?" You know, It's like I gotta do what I gotta do, you know.
Yeah.
But after we started, it felt like we were getting bigger, and I was like, "Okay, I can't do this anymore. Like now I need a kitchen." But I was like, "How am I gonna put on the Challenger?"
That's called a kitchen?
Like what's it called? Like a kitchen trailer.
Oh, okay.
You know, like a taco stand. They have like the.
Oh, okay.
I'm calling it a closed kitchen or a trailer kitchen.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was like the goal. So I was like, oh, I need to get a truck, and it was even funny getting the truck too because I almost didn't make that jump because you know I need to do the payments and the payment was so much more, and I was like, oh, I'm not ready for this. But the dealer, and I'm actually thankful that he kind of, I wouldn't say hustled me, but he did, because he convinced me. Because he was like, why do you want to do this? You know, I was like, oh, I want to own a business one day. You know. And he's like, oh, okay. And he's like, what do you do? I was like, I do funnel cakes. I eventually want to own like a transportation company. And he's like, oh, right on. And then towards the end of the deal, I was already like walking out the door. I was like, no, I got to think about it. I got to talk to my wife. And he's like, I'm going to tell you right now. He's like, if you don't make this jump right now, he's like, you may never make this jump. And you'll never, you know, he's like, you may never own a business. And honestly, I was so like vulnerable at the time. It got in my head. It got me like spinning. You know, I was like, holy crap, he's right. Because like, he's like, if you're really a hustler, like you're telling me you are, he's like, you're going to make it happen. He's like, you're going to get this truck and you're going to make it happen. And I was like, okay. I was like, you know what? You're right. Let's do this. I'm going to figure it out. And I started driving home and then everything was cool. And I was having all these plans in my head. And I was like, what am I going to do? You know, because it started coming out and the first payment came, it hit me. I was like, oh crap, I can't afford this. You know, I was like, I can't afford this. I need to figure this out. So we're trying to hustle funnel cakes. And I was like, I need to put this truck to more use. And that's when I first started doing like the trash loads. You know, I used the funnel cake trailer, would load trash on there, and then that started taking off more than the funnel cakes. And that's where I was like, maybe I should go this direction. But at the same time, it was income.
Yeah.
So that's why I ended up doing multiple things. It was the funnel cakes. It was the trash hauling. My wife wanted to quit her job. She was working for like a beauty college at the time. She's like, I don't want to do this no more. I want to make income. So I convinced her. I was like, hey, get some party equipment stuff. And I was like, I'll just go set it up. We'll split the money and we'll do like that. And that's how we came into doing all these things.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What did you learn from the funnel cakes? Like you shutting it down. What did you learn from that?
From shutting it down? Not, I couldn't say I learned anything from necessarily shutting it down. Sometimes, I guess, just to let things go. Because it was hard for me to let it go. Because there is potential in it. It could have still went so much bigger, but at the same time, I just had my goals changed.
Yeah.
And it was a matter of like just letting it go. And it was hard for me because I was like, it's not an incredible amount of followers, but it was like 1,400 on the Instagram page. I was like, I built the following up though, like organically. And just to let this go and, just that's just that whole stance, just letting it go. But I not learned from letting go of the business, but more like I learned from actually doing the business was working with the team. Yeah, because I obviously did it with my wife, my best friend, and my sister. And so I'm so used to like, I've ran a team before in shipping or like in warehouse. So I'm used to dealing with like people I don't know, but that was a bigger challenge to like work with like my family, because there was that whole bump, me and my wife. Like working with your wife is like a different kind of ball game right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
why?
Just sometimes it's hard taking directions from each other. I guess in that setting, it's kind of like, and there'd be times like me and my best friend, we argue all the time. So there's times where I'm like, oh guys, let's do this. But they would just turn to like a quick argument. And then I kind of get like thrown off because I wasn't ready for that. But at the same time, I was like, oh, okay, we need to like figure this out. And we still had our little bickers here and there. But I did realize we did work as a team like, towards the end. We all understood our positions and like falling off. And then I think there was even a time where I was sick and they ran it without me. And then that's like, when someone's not there, you realize how much they do, because I know if my girl wasn't there, because she did all the decorating, that I'd realize, oh my God, she does so much right here, vice versa, like anyone's position. So just in general, like since I started like business, I realized how important like a team is.
Dang.
Yeah.
And she's the one who decorates like all the, what's like the cloth hanging up in the thing and it goes
Oh
to the
no,
top?
that's my aunt's business. My aunt she also does party rentals. Yeah.
Dang, so that's pretty cool because then like same thing like that concept I was telling you, like you're already going to them like, yeah, we can set it up for you. We also know someone else who does this and you get a discount or I'm not saying you would, but like, well, we trust you already. So you already know someone else. Yeah. Like connect us already. It's like, it's easier close and sale. Like, instead of like them, hey, are you having a party? Or them reaching out to your aunt, right?
Yeah.
So that's pretty smart because you already have them all intertwined and then you guys everyone wins.
Yeah, and it works out because my aunt, she's bigger. She's way bigger than me. She has so much equipment. But we do collab sometimes. So sometimes she'll even like help me out and like, hey, bring your canopies out or go drop your jumper off over here.
Yeah.
So it does work out in that sense. Then it's all, like I said, it's a big old collaboration because I'd rather tell a customer, yes, we can do it versus like, no. I'd rather pass it to someone like, hey, can you paint? I'm like, oh, no, but I have a friend that does.
Yeah,
or,
of course.
Can you do this construction? Oh, no, but I have a number. Let me just plug you in right away instead of just like shutting down the customer and having them on hunt. Because when you can offer them more resources, I feel like they trust you too. Like, oh, I just go to him. I even did a junk removal job for some production company. I don't know the name off the top of my head, but they did SB Balance. That's the shoe, right? I always think it's Nike. Yeah.
Nike SB?
Is it Nike? No. New Balance.
No. Oh yeah, New Balance. Okay.
Oh yeah, New Balance. No. Yeah. Okay. So New Balance, they did a commercial out there in Lucerne Valley.
Okay.
And then they did the job. We did the job for each other, and they still called me like, hey, do you know somewhere where I can shoot like a commercial? And it was such an odd question for me.
Yeah.
They're like, do you know somewhere we can shoot a commercial for drifting? We're gonna do some car like production stuff. And I was like, yes and no. I was like, because I knew a guy, he runs HD Meats.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, I can call him because I know they do like the Maverick Stadium. Let me do some networking, try to figure it out. And I guess they're able, I passed the information along and they were able to do that. So I don't mind though.
Yeah, it feels good.
Some people are like, oh, you should charge people for your information. I'm like, I'd rather just connect the dots.
Yeah, it feels good knowing like, hey, I didn't ask for anything because I'm not looking for anything. Like, I'm just doing it because
Yeah.
Building relationships and networking.
And I'd want someone to do it for me.
Yeah, that's also true.
Yeah.
I mean,
so it's like, treat people how you want to be treated.
Yeah.
So it comes to the end of the day. So I just try to be like that person because it's almost contagious.
Mm-hmm.
You start doing it, then they do it for other people, and then they do it for strangers that have none in relation to you.
Yep.
And it just builds a better community, I feel like.
Yeah, it does. Do you still want to go back into the transporting business?
No, not at all.
At all? Nothing?
No, not at all. No. I really do like junk removal.
Okay.
It's just like, I don't know. I love the transformation of it. I mean, transportation. There's all kinds of things. I just feel like I found like my niche.
Okay.
I guess it's a little dirty and it's not like the most glamorous job, but I do enjoy it. It's more like free for me.
Mm-hmm.
Half the time I'm doing junk removal. The other half I'm driving from job to job, playing music. I just like it.
Yeah. And then the name is Donan?
Yeah, Donan Disposal. That's my last name, Donan.
Oh, okay. I remember hearing your son something like that. It was your son's name.
Angel Donan?
I don't know. I thought it was something about your son. I don't know. I just assumed that it was.
Yeah, no, I know with your company, you're putting your initials of your kids.
Yeah. But I remember talking to you about, I'm like, oh yeah, my son. Something about your son when I first met you. But how come you have the rhino on there?
Oh, it's an elephant.
Oh, sorry, an elephant. Why
No,
an elephant?
it's an animal that I just took a liking to. When I was younger, my mom gave me my first ever like elephant statue, and it was like ivory kind of style looking, or like it was some kind of like white marble.
Yeah.
Whatever. It was just beautiful to me, and she's like, it stands for like wisdom and luck, and it just stuck to me because I was like, oh, I want to be a wise person. And mind you, when I got it, I was not a wise person. Maybe to the younger generation, like other friends, they're like, oh, Francisco, he knows things, but I was messing around a lot when I was younger and just into like a bunch of bad stuff. But that animal just always stuck around. Like people still gift me like elephants to this day. Like there's one over there. My friend Denise, she gave me that one like a couple months ago when I dropped off a jumper. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I just like what it represents. So it just stuck to me, and then I put it on the logo, and now it's part of it. Dang. Yeah.
How do you balance like the schedule for at least the party rentals and then the disposal?
So with this, disposals, it's run through Monday through Saturday. We don't operate on Sundays because the landfill's closed.
Okay.
So we really don't even operate to begin with right there.
Not even just hold it on and then drop it Monday?
I don't advertise that, but we have done that in the past. Yeah, because then everyone starts wanting to do that. So I try to just stray away from it.
You think maybe like an overnight charge? Like, okay, I could do that, but it's going to be extra.
Some people have said that before. You know what? That's the hardest thing about, I think, running a business is like pricing. Because I remember I struggled in the beginning. I had like a smaller trailer and I had like the pricing on lock.
Yeah.
Once I went bigger, it was hard like deciding where to go. I was like, am I too expensive? Am I too cheap? Like where am I at? I consider myself like in the middle. I consider myself like right there. Like you definitely find a cheaper person and there's definitely more expensive people. But yeah, no, there was times I was underbidding myself too, where I would just bite the bullet. So as far as balancing though, party rentals is only on the weekend.
Okay.
So it's a drop off Friday, pick up Sunday type thing. We don't operate Sunday. So that works out right there.
Is there like for a reason why? Like so you can spend time with family, or is it just happens to be where we just don't do it?
On Sunday?
Yeah.
No, so Sunday the landfill is closed.
No. Oh, I thought you meant for the party rentals.
No, party rentals we pick up on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because their party's usually Saturday.
Yeah.
So we run that whole thing, and if ever I need to do something family related, like Sunday, I'm like, oh, I have this jumper out or some canopies out. I'll usually like ask the customer. I'm like, hey, is it okay if you have the jumper for an extra day? And in that sense, I pick it up on Monday. I spend the time with them Sunday, in that whole sense right there. But I mean, that's what with being an entrepreneur, I try to like schedule things a little farther out. Like as far as like my loads, I always try to like wake up with the family. There is times where I have started like an early day and I'm already gone, but I like to like wake up my kids, take them to school if I can. So I like to like schedule it as soon as I pick them or drop them off from school. So that's usually how I balance it. Like, can't always be there for everything, obviously, you're working. But I want to be still like heavily involved in their life. And that's a big reason too why I went self-employed, because, you're working a regular 9-to-5 job. I just remember just being Saturday and Sunday. And sometimes Saturday and Sunday is so fast. What if you spend the day on your own like pleasures, I just want me and the wife to go out. Now your kids only have 1 day of you.
Yeah.
You know, or your wife just has no days of you because you're just spending it family. So that's a hard balance to do. And there's no real like formula for that.
Yeah.
There's really not. The only thing you could do is just be really mindful. Be really mindful and pay attention. And, the bigger your family is, like I said, now I have an extra kid. She's a baby right now, but eventually she's gonna have her own like mental needs and wants too. So it's really hard to like pay attention. Is your wife struggling sometimes, with her own day-to-day routine? And I don't know if we're allowed to get into relationship stuff, but I feel like sometimes there's like a battle with like couples. Like, oh, I do more, I do this.
Yeah.
I'm working so hard.
Yeah.
And then and it's sometimes men don't see what the women do, and women don't see what the men do. It's like a back and forth thing. But I don't know if you pay attention to each other, then it helps you. It helps like the family in general. Like if you help her with her needs one day, maybe when you get busy, then she can handle it more easier, and then the kids are taken care of, and they're not as like thrown off. Like, hey, mom's not paying attention to us, dad's not paying attention to us. So
Yeah.
it just a matter about being mindful. And then
Yeah, I notice what helps me a lot is like just opening up to my wife, even when I feel like I shouldn't. Not shouldn't, but like I'm like, oh.
Why do you say that? Why do you say that? Because it's the second time you say it where you like you have a hard time being opening up.
Like where does it stem from or why?
Why? Because I'm only asking.
No, it's fine. Yeah.
I'm only asking because I just said this thought to myself like
Okay.
last week.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, that's why I was like, man, is it a
it's
thing?
more like, I don't know, just because like I remember saying earlier where it's like we're just not, or at least for me, like I'm just not used to opening up to anybody.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird to open up to my wife about something where I'm like, I think that's normal to just feel, when it's like, no, it's not normal. You're just so used to that, and I'm also so used to not opening up that I find it normal by not doing it because I've never done it before. So she always like, well, why didn't you open up to me? I'm like, well, I didn't think it was that important to open up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not saying that's an excuse. It's just that was my reason at first. Like, well, I didn't think to open up because I didn't think. I guess because I say like, I don't say, but like, well, I would assume like opening up to you about, hey, the kids are hurt or I'm hurt, physically hurt. But if like that's not it, then
that's more like communicating. Yeah, because you're just sharing information. But opening up is like, I feel.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Well, you're just breaking it down to me right there. It's like, yeah, opening up. It's hard for me, not because like I'm against it. It's just not knowing when to do it. Like, hey, maybe you should open up about what happened at work, even the smallest things.
Yeah.
Because I'm so normal, like, not normal, but I'm so used to it happening. It's like, well, who needs to know about it? No one.
Yeah.
It didn't bother me, so why does anyone else need to know?
Yeah.
It's like, well, if you would have opened up, then all that subconscious stuff that was bothering you, like
playing scenarios in your head that aren't really there sometimes.
Yeah, so that's the one thing that her and I always have so usually what helps that is just opening up, even when I don't even want to, or I'll do it naturally now, and it's like, okay, finally you're speaking up, Andrew. Finally, this is what's been bothering you. I'm like, oh yeah, you're right, it's bothering me. What helps is, well, I don't smoke that much, but when I do smoke, like my ego gets low, where it's like now I'm realizing all my problems and like let me solve it. So I usually write all my problems down in my notes. Like, you're not calling your parents enough, or you're not giving this much attention to this, or you're not taking care of yourself. He's in deep thought right there. He's like, Mom. Yeah. I'm always like that, bro. I'm always like, every time I smoke, like I know. And especially if I really open up to my wife, like she's like, did you smoke? And I'm like, yeah. Yeah. And she knows, like, if I'm Andrew's ever opening up like that much, it's because he smoked, and he's like, oh. So I'll wake up my wife at 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. sometimes, like, I'm sorry to wake you up, but it's like I have so much stuff like I just wanted to tell you.
2 in the morning, huh? Yeah.
It's messed up because yes, she needs to go to sleep, but like if I ever stay like that.
But I'm glad you're doing it. Honestly, as a man, like I'm glad you're at least doing it.
Thank you. Yeah. And so, but that's when I know, like, because she always tells me like, you need to smoke more, like, because that's what helps you, like, open up. And I'm like, well, I don't want to do it to rely on that. It's like I eventually want to just do it on my own, but I know it has to start somewhere by being, accepting of it.
When you're using it like as a real tool and a real medicine, I think it's good because you already said it yourself. You're not really abusing it. You're not wake and baking type of thing. You're using more of a reflection, and that's good because even like people when they have like depression and anxiety, you have so a lot of people have like a negative outlook on depression medication because if you're just taking it without doing your homework, you just end up taking it. But you're supposed to be taking your depression medicine along with therapy and getting to like the root of everything, and then getting off it. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily bad. I can understand the not wanting to even come off like that. So because you just don't want to be like that or be reliant on it.
Yeah, definitely. I have a negative stigma to smoking because I see my uncle smoke so much, and like he would just abuse it and like just numb everything, and I was just like, well, I don't want to be like that. Like I don't want to smoke because I don't want to be like him, even though I love him. But it's like whenever I do like attempt to think about like, hey, maybe I should like smoke because it's gonna help, not because I'm so stressed out. It's like there's stuff that I'm not realizing because it's all subconscious stuff that, or my ego is just. I always feel like it's my ego, like it doesn't want to let me see it. So like, let me just smoke so I can lower my ego, accept what's going on, write it down, and then the next day or that day, like take care of it all. But it's like, "Oh, but I don't want to be like I don't want to be that person, and I don't want to. I feel like a bum, or I feel like I'm letting my daughters down by doing that. So it's like a negative stigma that stops me from doing that.
That's also part of the ego too, like how we want to be looked at, whether it's by people or our own family.
Yeah.
And then I guess it's a matter of like just kind of building your own principles, and then you're still building them, because I smoke too, but I don't smoke in the morning, during the day, before work. I only smoke at night, and so it's like literally like within the last hour, and not even every night. But I still try to keep a positive outlook on it, and then what I stick by and support, because I do know that yes, there's people that abuse, and I had been a person who abused all kinds of things in the past. So I'm aware of how you want to look and like not be looked at, especially with kids.
Yeah.
It's like where does it become like where it's like, oh, you do it, or it's like, oh, I do it because of this, and then we start like explaining ourselves or overly explaining ourselves, and that whole thing. But I was funny. I love this conversation by the way because the whole thing about like opening up. So I had that same problem. Like I'm getting better at it, but I used to blow up a lot. Like I used to just bottle it, and then I suffered from anxiety and panic attacks for years. I'd always end up in the hospital. Like when I first started getting them, I was in the hospital every day for like a month, thinking I was having a heart attack until they finally diagnosed me. And then I was like, oh my God. And then mind you, long time when I was younger, I used to abuse all kinds of drugs and stuff. But they finally prescribed me Xanax, and I was like, oh my God, like now I actually need this. Like what the heck? And I didn't even want to take it. I was like, no, I can't do this. But still, like I chose to like deal with everything, trying to be like sober, bottle. I was just bottling my thoughts, but they would just come out so ugly because then I'd be like spazzing out on my wife. I'd be like, no, you don't get it. This is going on, and I just like blowing up. But it's because I wasn't talking about it.
Yeah.
Like I was just waiting until like my cup was so full that it just spilled all over the place, which looks ugly. So yeah, I'm getting better at it too. And then sometimes she asks us like, I mean, she's like my backbone, like.
Yeah.
Sometimes she'll like get on me like, oh, you need to talk about something, or you need to get up, and excuse me. Sometimes even her just calling me out like just helps out a lot.
Sometimes for me too, but sometimes it's like still gets that defense like, no, nothing's bothering me.
Yeah.
But
as her ego.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely have an ego as much as not pretend, but it's like I might not look like it, but I definitely have an ego where it's like I have to humble myself a lot, and I'm always having to like, okay, come on, like
we all do though.
Yeah,
we all do. It's like it's natural. It's like because I'm in school right now, I'm learning about that too, and then there's like a Sigmund Freud theory where he talks about like you have like 3 concepts of you, and it's like your basic human instincts, which is like as a child, like how you just like react to stuff, and then you got your ego, which is like your premeditative self, where you're like thinking about it, like, is this wrong? Am I gonna look like this? Am I not gonna look at this? And then your super ego, which is like you have already thought about this enough to know where you want to stand. Yeah, and it's just a theory, but it's just like
no, I mean, I think
like that.
I like that just because like once you start being more educated about it, then you start seeing like this is why I act like that.
Yeah.
Instead of like just being like, oh, I'm just upset. It's like because you don't. I wouldn't say you don't want to educate yourself. It's like like financially, like you don't know about, how do you say it? Like finances, like some people don't learn how to do it. That's why they're either always like
Financially
struggling.
illiterate.
Yeah, like something like that. Like same thing like that, but for like psychology.
No,
Psychology illiterate.
you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And that's why we have problems in general, like whether it's family, relationship, or just like our own like individual self. It's because we don't know, and we just think it's just the way I am, and that's what a lot of people do. You know, like if you don't like me, how I am, then so be it.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, you are your person. Everyone needs to remember is like we are our own person, but some things are not for our best interest ourselves. Like, you know, we think it's just like you don't like it, deal with it.
Yeah.
But we all need to change, and then education goes a long way because I didn't know about that for a long time. You know, like I grew up, you know, like old school. You know, parents are like, yeah, you don't know anything. You know, everything. Like we're not talking about issues, and it was just like, you know, go to therapy on your own. No one wants to do it. But now I go to school because I'm going to school to be a drug and alcohol counselor as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So now I started learning about that. You know, so like I'm learning about like family thoughts and like self thoughts, and it wasn't until like, oh, sorry, I'm like throwing all these things
No,
out.
you're fine.
Yeah, because you know, because when I got locked up years ago, and when I did that, I had a counselor in there, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna take this class. This is a drug and alcohol counselor, and he educated me so much, and he was triggering me, that I was like upset. I was, you know, like I was like, he would ask questions about like your mother, your father. He's like, oh, you have a good relationship, and I'm like, oh, it's all right, you know. He's like, why is it all right, you know? And then he just started digging at you, and then I'd be like, you don't know what you're talking about. He's like, I don't know, you know. But he was saying all the right things, but I was so upset. But I would reflect on it,
Yeah.
because he knew what he was doing. But I like going to that class. I just kept going and learning and learning, and then, you know, then I started taking the family class, and I was like learning. I was like, oh man, there's so much more. Now I know why I did all these bad things when I was younger, and why I continue into my adulthood, and how I could change it, and then, you know, breaking like generational curses.
Yeah.
And that's why I want to do counseling as well, because I want to try to help others.
Like open up your own like study, or that's not how that works.
No, it can. I don't know. See, I'm just like you though. I have like things all over the place.
Yeah.
Because everyone's like, "What are you gonna do?" Because I'm doing school, and they're, "Are you gonna let the junk removal go?" And I'm like, "No." Like my plan is to like build that business as much as possible.
Yeah.
And then I want to do counseling on the side.
I mean, you can still do it. Like,
Yeah.
just build like another page of it.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
I have a whole another Instagram for it, a whole another TikTok. I already have the whole idea for it.
Yeah, and then you don't even need. Eventually, you won't even need like a professional office. Just like people are just gonna message you privately, like, "Can we do a Zoom call one-on-one?" And you don't need to go through the system. I need to get certified. It's just like, not that I know it all. It's just more like I'm just telling you what I know.
Yeah.
Whether you take it or not, like I'm gonna help you whether you like it or not.
Within specs,
Like it or
actually,
not.
because either way, I'm going to be like registered alcohol and drug therapy.
Oh, okay.
And then eventually I'll be like a full-on counselor once you put like 3,000 hours in. But either way, I could do exactly what you're saying. I can have like Zoom calls with them, but I still have to keep it like in specs of like what a counselor can and cannot do. Because we're still not doctors, and we're still not like psychologists.
Are there people like investigating for that? Like, are you really teaching them what you say you're teaching them?
Somebody can complain.
Oh, okay. And
Somebody
that's
can
what can
complain.
get your license like,
Yeah,
taken away?
they could be like, hey, this person said this to me.
Oh, okay.
You know, or they try to say, you know, if not that I would do it, but if someone tried to like, a counselor started like, oh, you probably have depression. Can't even say that. You know, all we could do is like document like on like a paper, like, okay, based off of these numbers, this person probably has depression. Can't tell him that,
Yeah.
Or her. I would take that, give it to like the right professional, and then they would make the decision on their own.
Oh,
You know.
dang.
So yeah, that's actually a goal of mine. So like, I'm gonna do it part time, and I plan to do that as like a retirement thing. You know, because you know I'm gonna get older. Like I love junk removal, but eventually like my body's not gonna be able to handle as much. And
Yeah.
then maybe when I'm like 50, start slowing down some. Just be a counselor, a little more easy on me.
You think that's gonna be like a new challenge of like your kids coming up to you like, "Hey, Dad, I'm feeling like this." Like, well, it's because you're doing this, and it's like, I didn't want you to give me the answer why I'm feeling like this. I just needed to open up to you. Well, you'll probably know by then, like, how to.
Yeah, it's already like that. You know, because when I first, I've been chasing this goal for a while. Because when I got out of jail, I initially went to VBC and was trying to do it, but it was like classes here and there.
Yeah.
But when I was learning all these psych classes, I'd come home, and my wife hated it. She's like, I'm like, she catch me trying to diagnose her and stuff. She's like, don't be trying to do that mumbo jumbo on me.
Yeah.
And then so it's hard. You gotta like detach. And then I guess the cool thing about being like a counselor though is like, yeah, we can make all these assumptions, but the whole goal is to like not be judgmental.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Of course.
And like you only there when someone wants to help. Like, because I'm still not like very, I'm not really anti-drug. I know nowadays people are anti-alcohol at all. I'm really pro-responsibility. So I'm like, hey, you don't think you have a problem? Cool, that's fine. But if you do think you have a problem, that's what I'm here for. Let's work it out together.
Well, what if you have someone, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but like, what if you do have somebody that does have a problem, but they don't think they have a problem?
Where? In my family?
Or like, let's say alcohol, if we go talk about that.
In my family? Or like?
Oh, we're talking about,
or in like a counseling center.
What were you talking about, for family?
No. It just, what do you mean? Like in the counselor setting, like at a facility? Or like?
The example that you were saying, like, oh, I'm only doing it as like, you want to teach responsibility, accountability instead of like.
Oh, that's like, yeah, well, see, that's my own like personal outlook on things. Cause,
okay.
Yeah, because I try not to like dump, because I know a lot of times when, say like everybody, when we change, like when someone stops drinking, immediately you just hear, I'm like, you guys should stop drinking too. But it's like, can't do that,
Yeah.
And a lot of times, because sometimes people aren't ready to like necessarily quit themselves, we want like a teammate with us. Like, oh, I'll go to the gym if you go to the gym. Let's go to the gym together. So it never happens. So in that same sense, like if someone didn't think they had a problem, that's on them. All you can really do is like offer like the resources. You can offer like, I know a painter. But, oh, okay, you don't think you have a problem? Like, I know someone who can help you though if you did. If you did, that's and there's a lot of resources out there for people too. Because it's like I said, we're not just here to like pick all like the addicts off the street in the bar and drag them in there.
What's the main resources that you can probably say that people can look up, like if they're watching right now?
The main researchers?
Resources.
You know what? I don't know how to type it right now, but it's like SAMHSA.gov, or it's gonna be your findingafacility.gov. Okay. If you type that in, you'll find like all kinds of facilities, and then even they will like offer like information.
Does the insurance cover that, or you gotta pay out of pocket?
Both. So some facilities do get covered by your insurance. Some probably expect cash. Some IHP will cover. It's like the government.
Yeah.
It just depends. Yeah, but I still don't even know myself. I'm still going to school.
Okay.
I'm not even officially in the field at all yet, so I still have to like get there. But that's one of those other things I'm balancing.
No, you're good. Don't worry about it. That's awesome, man. I'm so used to, bro. I have my kids everywhere.
Yeah, I'm gonna see what she's gonna do. Like, Luna, you gonna come out or not? Luna, come here.
Hi.
That's Luna.
Hi. You said she's 2 years old?
She's 2 years old. Yeah.
Hi.
Say hi. Nice back scratcher. you found it?
Yeah, I know. Did she get like that with the camera?
You know what? This is the first time I've ever seen this.
She looked dead at the camera. Like,
yeah, she knew that. See the light? Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm like, I wouldn't say I try to learn about psychology, but it's always interesting, like when you see it and like have to keep it to yourself and not have to, push your beliefs on anyone else.
Yeah.
It's really how would you say it? It's really a lot of self-control of not doing that because you want to, but it's like, I can't force anyone to see how I see it.
It's helped a lot. All that psychology stuff too has like really helped a lot. I think with me with business as well too.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times as like business people, we're just like unknowing about customers and like the way they think. So we think of on a very like human standpoint, like, oh, this guy's being a jerk. And then as business people, like the instinct is to like be a jerk back. But I just know like everyone deals with someone different. So you have to be patient with people, just like anybody else. These customers. And at the end of the day too, like the customers, we're there to like service them. You're kind of talking like helping people out, kind of like providing something for them.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point of like running a service is like serve us. So I know. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Yeah, I used to sell makeup and hair straighteners at the mall. So you know, like years in the mall just selling hair straighteners and makeup. Like,
Really? Like
yeah.
running a kiosk?
Yeah, the kiosk. Micah Beauty was the makeup spot, and then Sutra was like hair straighteners. So all day is just like pulling women. Hey, can I help? Like, hey, let me show you this real quick. Just getting no's all day or being at $0 all day, and like
Yeah.
no, 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 and like that helped like build like a skill of like
And that's hard.
when so oh yeah,
Yeah, it's hard.
I see people coming and going all the time or who just can't take it, and they're like,
Yeah.
what the hell are they not? And then it's like they lose their temper.
Yeah. Because I couldn't imagine. Because even when I see those guys, like, I know they're like trying to get the shoe cleaner and stuff, doing it all day. I was like, I can't take that kind of rejection. I can't handle rejection.
Yeah.
It's hard for me now, you know?
Yeah, I'm so used to it. That's why like on cold calls, like it's easy. That's why Roman just like, hey, just take care of those phone calls, bro.
Yeah.
Like, hey, how's it going? It's Andrew from Huntington Films. No, okay, no problem, man. Have a good day. And then on the next, hey, what's up, man? It's like all the time. Like
Yeah.
I'm so used to it that I don't really care. If, like, no, like all right, cool, no problem. Because that's all I was getting was just 24/7. No, 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 no.
I do better of it on the phone, for sure. Because like everyone's like, how do you do social media all day and text? I'm like, man, I'm like writing. When I was running all the 3 businesses, I'm like, man, I'm writing 3 different apps, or sorry, 3 different pages. Customers all saying the same thing. How much? How much? How much for this? And then you're not always locking in a job, but you're repeating the same answer over and over and over. So that was a little bit of practice for me. But in person though, I don't know how you do that.
I do it, man. I do it. Like I have patience when people lose their temper.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm sorry you feel like that, but you know we're gonna do our best to take care of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I do get upset too. Like my cheeks turn red when I get upset. Like I don't really have a poker face because I'm always smiling, but like when I'm upset or embarrassed, like my cheeks and my ears just turn red. Like the blood just rushes all right here.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, cool. And people know like when I'm upset, even though I'm like, oh, okay. And if they just like, yeah, his cheeks are just red. But yeah, you just built just getting rejected so much that it just like I was able to not realizing like, hey, this could be useful in the future.
Yeah.
And it ended up just
People skills. Yeah.
people skills, building relationships. It was kind of easy selling makeup because it was just like this is something that you need. I believed in the product. That's what it was. Like I believed in it. I knew it was going to help you, and I believed it was going to help you.
Yeah.
So like I transferred that belief to you, just like I transfer, hey, this video is gonna do good because it's like organic instead of like you're paying me this much money, I need to convince you, or like no, this is gonna be the best video or the highest quality or you're gonna get so much attention. It's like, hey, like we're just gonna have fun. You're gonna see like how organic it is, and people are gonna message you because hey, look or whatever, like it or comment like just because.
Yeah.
It's just fun. They see you having fun. I'm the one having fun behind the camera. Like it all like ends up. How do you say it? Like it all, like comes together to like make something good happen. Where you see a couple videos where it's like, ooh, like they didn't look like they wanted to be there, or someone didn't look like they wanted to film that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can always tell the energy, and yeah, that's why I provide that like service that customers remember. Like, okay, I've had bad experiences before where I've shot horrible and I've edited horrible, and it's like, that's not the best feeling in the world. Like, this is what I paid for. It's like,
oh, and a customer hits you like that? Yeah. Oh, okay.
It happened recently, so that's why I'm like, that's why it sticks in my head. And I had to recently refund a customer recently, so it was like, it felt like not the best, but I was like, hey, like it's a lesson learned. Move forward. I can't think like, oh, this is the end of the world. Like, give the money back. I'm sorry you feel like that, but here's your money back. So I don't want you to feel like, oh, you took my money and this is it.
Yeah.
Take it back. We'll do whatever we can for you, but let's move on. They're gonna talk bad about me, whoever, but it's like at the end of the day, I'm still gonna network. And then if the people I do come across of the people that they had bad talk to me, it's like, that's what happened. My story, that's their story. That's completely fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I respect it that. Whatever, I just come into an understanding of like, you can't control everything, and you know already. It's like you can't control everybody or the people around you. You just have to that's how they are. I can't do anything about that. Let me just continue to just focus on what I can handle and what I can control.
So you're talking in a sense too, like what you can control, what you can't control. I'm gonna build up to it, but what do you plan to do with now that it's just you? It's just you right now, right? So do you plan on like expanding, or what do you see, like a team in the future? Or?
I don't know, man. It's like I want to have a team, but it's like the content I'm making, it's like it's not really
Needed right now?
No, I guess it is needed, but the problem I'm having right now is the fact that trying to teach somebody creativity.
Okay.
Because that's hard. That's something that you can't really, you have to build that muscle. So I have to have
Yeah.
somebody who's willing to want to do that.
And it's hard too, because like, when you find someone that you want someone who's already creative, they're already so creative. They want to do their own thing.
Yep.
As well already. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where it's like, I've been on that side too. Like I've been that person where I'm the creative and like I want to do my own thing.
Yeah.
And that's how I got here. It's a good thing, like how I got here, but that's the only thing. Just trying to figure out like how to systemize what I do, so I can teach someone else. Whether I can just sell that system,
Yeah.
or just use that system to get more clients. So at the end of the day, I got to figure out like, do I want multiple clients that I'm being effective with, or do I want to just continue to just get these like small clients, not small clients, but less clients, and get help them out and maximize what I can do for them. So that's where I'm trying to figure out with that first.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Look at this girl. What's that look at? What are you doing? You want to go play with everybody? You're bored in that room, huh? Mom's not paying attention to you? No. Can she be here with you guys a little bit?
Yeah, that's so crazy, huh? I didn't think about that. But yeah, that's pretty much that. Just trying to figure out like how to teach creativity, because it's hard for me to just teach somebody like, oh, how do you do that? It's like it just comes to me.
Yeah.
How do you do it? Like, how do you mix it with your client and this client, HVAC and college? It's like it just comes to me, bro. Like I just know now, like to just fill it in and create something related, even though I've never been in that trade whatsoever. But it's relatable to whoever I like mix it in.
Yeah. In the sense too, I know you're like want to find a creator, but I guess that's why you are the creator. That's why people go to you. You are that. So I guess when you build a team, it's like delegating other things that maybe you wouldn't really want to do. That's just what I heard. Like, find what you don't necessarily want to do, or you're not really good at, and find someone who is good at that, and then fill that part in. Because you're the creative edge. Find someone who can all the other things for you, whether it's
Well, definitely. Sorry. For example, like editing. Like editing takes the most time. It's usually like it's not my forte. Like, okay, I want to be there for hours to edit.
Yeah.
So I can, delegate that to someone else, pay someone else for that. When you come to that part, that's when it's like, you have to accept like, okay, I'm going to spend money to get this done, instead of like, well, I can do it myself. It's like, well, do you want to sacrifice your time? In the moment, you're like, yeah, I'll do it. But then it's like those hours that you did waste, and you look back like, oh, man, I should have just, all this stress, all this stuff, I should have just spent the money to get someone else to do it.
Yeah.
So you have to think like long term, like, okay, well, how could I, like you say, like save up your time? Because that's all you have is like your time. And the creativity, you become more creative when you have a lot more time on your hands, instead of like stressing on deadlines and I gotta finish this video because I filmed that and the deadline is here. And it's like, when that stress and you feel burnt out, like that like stops all creativity, which I've been before many times, and I'm gonna continue to be in burnout situations and all that. But it's more like, how do you get out of it? You just push through, and then eventually it just like comes back around where it's like, heck yeah, let's go make a video, let's go do something like that.
And that's a fine line too, because it's like taking all the responsibility on yourself is like just like so instinctual, because like it's money, and it's like, oh, okay, if I pay someone though, it's like less going in over here, I could do it all myself. But in the end of the day, it's like it really ends up costing you more, because now you're losing out on like other jobs. And that's what I've learned too, is like I'd rather bring in like everyone, like let's come knock out this job, because when I take it upon myself doing a whole day of jobs, I'll be so burnt out by the end of the day, I don't even have time to even think, or I don't even want to reply to like other customers. It just like burns me out completely. So first I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, I can do all this myself, But at the end of the day, then I'm so burnt out that now I'm not even doing it myself because
Yeah.
I'm so just like lacking or tired or like, no, I'm not my best.
Yeah, and that's one aspect. Like the other aspect is like now you bring it home to your wife and kids.
Okay,
Like
yeah,
for
of
me,
course,
it's
yeah.
I'm always like just getting frustrated. My wife's like, well, what happened? Like, well, because this happened. Like, I gotta make sure I gotta do this. Like, now I'm taking it on my kids and my wife, and it's like, oh, man, like you could have just saved all this energy by just paying for it now.
Yeah.
But it's just learning. Like, I guess, you know, like leaving Huntington Films, like as far as like the creative side, I already know how to market and I know how to get attention, go viral. Not that it's important, but it's like getting the brand out there. Um, it's now the business side I'm like learning all myself because Roman already was taking care of the business side, so he was already had that lockdown.
Yeah.
By paying me more, so he kind of already knew like not paying me more, sorry, but like just paying me like I'll pay Andrew to take care of that part. So like now I have to accept like I have to pay someone else to take care of something that I don't know.
And like the business part or
Yeah,
the cases.
the business or like editing or like
Yeah.
go film this. Now I gotta have that trust. I gotta
Yeah.
find someone to trust. So it's like it's a whole new different side like I'm learning about myself, and it can be scary. It can be like, fuck, man, this is what I gotta. This is what my
Yeah.
clients feel like. I gotta put money out of my pocket. Like I can't just keep it as profit. As much as you like
Yeah.
to think like it's all mine, and it's, I
Yeah.
can get how I understand why, you know, how I wouldn't say greedy, but like I understand like how you can just want to keep it all because it's profit, and you
Yeah.
can spend it on, you know, reinvesting it back in the company.
Yeah.
But that's also reinvesting it by giving it to someone else that they're gonna
Yeah.
give you that video and take care of it.
And once you invest, yeah, once you're investing in your team too, the company's able to make more money.
Yeah.
You know, like sometimes it doesn't happen, and it's like you're just like throwing money out. You know, because I've even done jobs where like I've broken even, and you know, my best friend, he works with me, so he'd be like, "You don't gotta pay me. You don't gotta pay me." I was like, "No, don't ever say that." You know, I was like, "I'm gonna pay you. You know, I'm gonna pay you before I even pay myself." Only too, because like I've worked with people in the past where like didn't get paid out, you know, and I put a lot of like effort into like all these things that I had hopes and dreams and just trying to like build, you know, and I used to just take that same hit, but in the end, like nothing came from it, you know. Like I worked for like a maintenance man, you know, he's like, "You're gonna be like this, be like that," and he just kept pushing my like money on the side, and I was willing to do that, and I put my own self at risk, and then in the end, I was like, "Yo, I don't want to ever do that ever again. Not only to myself, but I'll never do that to someone else."
Yeah.
And especially as like a business person, like now I see I never want to be like that kind of business guy. Like I'm always gonna make sure my team eats, because if they're satisfied, it also encourages them to like want to help with you. You know, if you're paying them just like the minimum wage and just trying to give them like the bare minimum, like I've worked in places where it's like you're getting the minimum. You know, it doesn't make you feel good, and that's why like I don't pay crazy, but I do hope to like keep paying like at least a decent fair wage.
Yeah.
And then hopefully even way more. And then I know, you know, you get a happy team. Yeah, you don't get as much as you would if you just did all yourself. But if your team's happy and you're putting out better content, you're building more clients, then the money just comes in. It's just like a second nature, you know.
That's why I'm slowly just accepting and reaching out to others like, hey, how much would you charge me to film? How much would you charge me to edit? Just because I'm like, I have to get there at some point, regardless. Whether I'm doing it for a video production company or if I'm just selling myself for a premium service.
Yeah.
And I can make a living off of that and then start teaching systems of this is how I do it, because people are going to, how do you do it, Andrew? How do you get this much? I can teach you how to get high paying clients. I can teach you how to make content. I can teach you what apps to use. I can just teach you life in general. How do you do work-life balance with your wife and kids and what you're doing? I can teach you how to do that. So it's kind of like, I mean, I can still do all that teaching, whether it's both or whatever, it's one of the directions I'm going with. But just taking it day by day, man. Like, I know that you're supposed to have a goal, but it's like, I'm just pushing through and like getting things done now. And the main important thing that I've always done and I've always will continue to have is like, you know, just always have fun, and then the money's gonna come eventually.
Yeah.
Some people think different, which is fine. But I've always been about like, you know, let's get the work done. Let's have fun doing this, And it's not always going to be fun 24/7, which is fine. But like if we have the passion for it and like let's do it and then let's get it done and then the money's going to come eventually because you'll just be learning from those skills of you just getting it done. Like you end up benefiting off of that big time.
Yeah. I can understand too that taking it day by day as well. Because that's why I feel like I'm in some, everyone's like, what's the goal? What's the goal? I'm like, the goal is to build. And I'm doing that day by day. Like every time I take a client, it's building, making sure the work is A1 as much as possible. That's it for right now. And then once it hits a certain peak of build, then we'll go on to the next step.
Yeah.
But right now, that is the primary goal, is just keep building, keep doing A1 work, and just, satisfying customers.
And then when you hear people, and there's nothing whatsoever bad about people that ask you like, what's the goal? It just depends on where they're at in life, you know. If they don't have a successful business, then they're gonna ask you, what's your goal? And then you'll give them, oh, the goal is to grow, and then they'll accept that, like, okay, that's awesome, and then you feel good. But it's like, I just only satisfied someone who really doesn't know. You know what I mean? Like impressing somebody.
I understand.
That doesn't know. Not that it's bad whatsoever. Like, but I would want somebody asking me that's successful. Like, that's your goal. Like maybe maybe you can do.
Someone who could push you a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So that's something that I want to be surrounded by people that are doing it and that can help me. Someone like a mentor, but just surround myself around it. Because I'm not trying to impress any family members or anybody. Like, they ask me, how do you do this? Like, CapCut, and I do this like that, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But it's never like, oh, yeah, I got all these clients. Never whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like, they're always telling me, oh, you got to, like, yeah, but, I'm just having fun doing it. I'm not, whatever. But, how do you say it? I try not to get off of, like, to try to impress people, like, oh, yeah, like, I'm doing it. Because next month could be all gone. Next year could be all gone. And then I'm like, I have nobody. And I'm like,
yeah.
So that's where, like, hey, you know what? I'm just doing it. And eventually, like, I want to, wherever it gets, because I got here from just knowing, like, hey, just follow it and just have fun and things come. I got here. And I know that it's going to continue to traject. But eventually, it's to find a mentor. I think that's, like, the next level for me, just finding a mentor that's doing it successfully, that can help me out, like, okay, this is what you could be doing. Because they're going to teach me different ways on how to, like with the LLC, like, okay, this is how you go around these taxes or figure out this stuff and that. And it's like, okay, I didn't know that. Cool, thank God. And that's what I want to be around. And eventually it will come, but I'm not trying to, like, force myself to look for it. It's like,
to this group, to like find these people. Yeah.
Like, it's going to come naturally, and, when it does come, like, I'll be ready, like, okay, like, this is the opportunity, instead of, like, you don't know what you're talking about, or no, like, whatever.
Now you're saying it too about, like, oh, this person's accepting that answer of, like, oh, I'm just building, to, like, someone that knows. That's, like, the hard part too, where, like, not hard part, but, like, there'd be times where people give you, like, praise, right? They see you doing something, and then to, like, the naked eye, they're like, oh, you're doing so good, your business is doing so good. But in my mind, I'm like, no, it's not that it's not, but I'm like, it's not even there yet. And maybe that's just me knocking myself down,
No, I don't think so.
But I'm like trying to just be humble about it, because I'm like, if I start thinking like that, then I just think I'm good. But I'm like, no, I know there's more. I know there's more, and that I have to go there. It's like this hard balance of, like, I'm okay where I'm at. It's not down here, it's not up there, and I can go either direction and just be ready for it all. But sometimes I know, just like regular day by day people that maybe don't understand, like, running your own business or whatever the case is, they just, like, feed the ego. And then I try not to pay attention to it. And that's the hard part, because you got to not pay attention to the negativity, but also not pay attention to the positivity as much, because that positivity will eat you alive just as bad as the negativity.
Yeah. And
I do have some friends that they started out actually as clients or, like, friends of friends that are, like, people, like, how you say, what'd you say? Not role model. Mentors.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of, I wouldn't even know if I can call him mentor, but you know what? I have my friend, I have a friend, Eric. He's like an all-around hustler, right? Like, just seeing him and just the way he lives, we all live different lifestyles, but, he inspires me. And then I got my friend, Fabian. He runs a painting business, so a small business, I look to him. I'm like, oh, he knows. He's been doing this for a cool minute, so he understands it. And then my other friend, Dr. G, he just did his doctorate. So he got his schooling. So for education, so I got like someone looking for like complete hustling, small business, and education, and those are who I just get inspired by.
Yeah.
Because I've never really looked up to anybody, but they're around my life where I'm like, okay, cool. We're all family, we all live different lifestyles, but I'm inspired by them, and I don't get easily inspired by anybody. But when I see them the way they do and with the things they accomplish, I'm like, cool. Not that I want to do the same things, but that I also could be there. I know where they started from and see how far they came, and then just I guess wanting to be like that same thing too.
Yeah. I don't think it's downplaying yourself whatsoever. I think it's just like there has to be a balance of like being humble and like having that arrogance to like no one needs to get better.
Yeah.
And being humble, like, okay, am I taking it too far? Or when people give you your flowers, like, all right, thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Like I'm always, hey, thank you, I don't appreciate it. But like I know there's like that next step.
Yeah.
Not like I'm not even close to where I'm at. It's like, it's gonna come, but thank you for everybody who's supporting me now. And
it's a hard balance. It's a hard balance. Yeah.
It's hard balance. Definitely, you get caught into. I mean, I'll be honest. Like I've been guilty of like getting into like, oh yeah, heck yeah, I get to work here and do that. I have the freedom, because that's more like I'd say the flex. Like I have the freedom to be able. Clients trust me now that I can just edit or like come up with ideas, and they trust it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that video of Toyota, like that shady edit of like the car
The flying. Yeah.
It's like I was excited. I sent it to you, and I remember sending it to other people, and I never send videos like that. I'm like, why send this video when I've never sent the other ones that hit 1 million or blah blah blah.
Why did you do that?
Why did I do that? It was like flex, like, oh yeah, they let me do this. It was like a proud moment, like they let me do something so dumb with the big company, and I feel like it was inappropriate. So I apologize to you for sending it to you now, because I thought about it. I'm like, I sent it to him, but I never sent him anything like that.
I was fine, because I know you've never sent it, but like people do that to me a lot. Like they just go, and I guess it's like I said, we do something similar. So even though you've never done that, you're like, let me see what he thinks. Just different brains put together.
And it was also just picking your brain too, like, oh, what do you thought? Like I just wanted to hear, like, I don't get it. That's what I'm always looking for. Like I don't get it. Because that's what I think, like, okay, cool, I like that you don't get it. Because someone else will.
Yeah.
So it's because I always hear, hey, yours is funny, this is relatable. And it's never really like, I just don't get it. Aside from my wife.
Yeah.
My wife never gets my humor or like, yes.
Yeah.
And she shows me her stuff, and I'm like, for nursing, because she's RN. And I'm like, I don't get it, but I understand now. I'm like, because that's your type of humor and that's your type of the field. This is my type of humor, and this is like what I find funny and what's different.
Yeah.
At least for me. So, but that's why I did it. It was just like trying to like pick people's brains, and also like in the back of my mind was more like, okay, yeah, like I'm making content for Toyota.
Yeah.
Whether I was getting praise for it or not, like, oh shit, that's dope. It's just like, I knew subconsciously that's what's going on, but I can get away with it. Why? Hey, this is an idea. Like, see what they let me get away with, in a way. So that's something I just admit to myself right now by doing that. So,
I mean, it's cool. Honestly, I still think it's cool because, to be aware. I mean, obviously, you can look at the video. It's maybe cheesy or whatever the case is, but it's still a cool video. It's still, and like, it's just putting it out there.
Yeah.
And even for like Toyota themselves, like to do that, that's like, even as a company, I feel like it's putting their ego aside, and it's like, hey, we can make this content and make a cool video, and let's just make content. And so whoever you're working with on that side, I feel like they're doing a good job by also letting you be creative, because
Brian, shout out to Brian. Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, because it takes a team. So he understands that. He's like, and even like with tattoo artists, a lot of like tattoo artists, like they don't get to do their real work, because people are like, do this, boom.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey man, you go to the artist, trust the artist. You're going to me, trust me, I'm gonna get this right. It goes the same for like everyone. Everyone has their style. Trust and believe. You can put a little input, because obviously you're paying for it too. But I feel like you should always trust the artist.
Definitely. Definitely. It was also like to inspire people. Like, your work doesn't need to be the highest quality to be able to
Okay,
get
like that.
paid.
Yeah.
Look what I did, and you can do the same thing too. You just need to not give a F and just post it or just do whatever makes you happy. Don't feel like, oh, like I always tell people, like, don't feel like you need to wait for the right setting or wait for the right lights or wait for this. It's like you just do it because you had fun doing it, and then you post it, and people will see that.
Yeah.
And that's what was like, if I can not get away with it, but if I can, have fun and do this, and I did it on CapCut, people think, how'd you do it on Premiere Pro or editing? I was like, I show them the CapCut video, like, this is how I did it.
CapCut's gold. It's gold,
this is how I did it. And then they're like, what, CapCut? I'm like, yeah, you just got to mess with it a little bit, and you'll start learning. I've been doing it for so long, and every single day, and like throughout the whole year, like I built that muscle because I had trained. What would you say? Like I practiced those hours into it. That's how it's easy for me.
It's good that you're pushing people to see that in themselves, like not only in yourself. First, is the light blinding you?
No. I just had itching. My eyes were itching.
Yeah, because obviously you're doing it for yourself as well. To like, I gotta just produce. I gotta put stuff out, put ego aside, put it out. But you're showing other people to do that same thing. Like, hey, just put out stuff, because that's why I stopped doing content. Like, I know I do work content, but I don't do like my funny videos anymore because I started thinking too much about it. I was like, the word cringe came out, and then freaking, my daughter would like say it all the time. I was like, oh crap. But I let it get in my head. I let it get in my head, and then I just started overthinking a lot of it. And I do hope to go to it one day. Like when I see you talk about it all the time, I'm like, I just need to get back in there. Like just do it on the side, just just have fun with it.
Yeah.
Because that's what it was. It was so fun, and I enjoyed every moment of it. But now I just don't do it. I'll come up with all these ideas, and then I just let it. And everyone's like, you have so much time on your hands, but I'm like, no, it doesn't. If you don't think about it, it doesn't take too much time.
Yeah.
You just go for it.
That's where like my creative outlet is just like I have so much, not time, but it's like I have so much stuff that like I'm always having ideas like, all right, let me just film it. That's where my personal TikToks come in, or my personal stuff come in, because I'm like, I usually filming at 1 a.m. where I have the idea and post it, not waiting, because the algorithm is going to pick up more at 9 a.m. or whatever time. It's like, I'll post stuff at 2 a.m. just because like, hey, it's funny. And then if it doesn't perform, like, I don't care. Like, I can just repurpose that on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube.
Yeah.
And one of those ones will grow, and I'll grow that channel. So it's like, as long as I have fun doing it, like that's all that matters. And it helps like a creative outlook instead of like, oh, it's work, this and that. It's like, oh, I get to have fun by doing something. And it's like long-term effects, like ROI for that, because I learned how to do that thing that I tried differently and fun. Now I can take that concept and like apply it to something else.
Yeah.
The good thing about, and we can end it off this one here, because, but like the good thing about working with a lot of clients and social media is like I'm making so much content for all of them that if one works really good at the HVAC, like video, whatever concept or template it is, that one that's performing really good, now I get that video and I apply it to the other clients.
Okay.
And then those ones all like perform pretty good.
Yeah.
And then vice versa. So I have those 5, or like for example 5 for that week, and I have another 5 over here for this week that into the car automotive, and then one of them does good, then I can take that automotive one and put that back into this one.
Yeah.
And then I'm all just like tying everything, like, okay, this works good here, and then do this. But it usually stems from me doing it first, because I have the time and like, let me try this out with videography. That worked good. Let me switch it for cars, college, HVAC. What is it? The rentals. I forgot what the Kabuta rentals, like heavy machinery. So it's like now I'm doing like analytics and data. Like, okay, which one performs good?
Yeah.
Like ads, like this release 4, and then whatever one does good, we're just put all the money to that one that's doing good. So
Noticing
it's like
what
same
works.
thing, same thing now. And I'm starting to see it like that, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like breaking it down. So now that's where the system has to come in place, because that's a system right there. But now how could I get that to like take it to the next level, and then teach that to somebody else?
Yeah. Because I mean, you're like paying attention to what works. And one thing, you did the video for me, and I've run ads in the past before, but they were just like picture videos. But that video itself was like, let me run this as an ad, and I feel like it did well. Like, I know it's like really focused on the area, and I was like, oh man, This actually did a lot better than I ever even thought it was gonna do.
Really?
Yeah, because I did have people like I had a couple clients already like, oh yeah, I got you from your ad, from your video, and some people were like I'd write them and they're like, oh yeah, I seen you from the video. Like I'm already gonna go with you based off of just the video alone.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, because they're like, yeah, I just like your style, your personality. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Send them the prices, and they were just already like, I guess it gives them more like, what is it, like a personal effect?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, okay, I kind of feel like I know you, because a lot of times when you're doing these bids, you're competing with like a bunch of like Jungle Move guys, and we're all just in the text saying the same thing. So when they see the video, they're like, oh, okay, like now I've seen this person, and it's not a surprise person anymore. But now I know it works, and I'm like, oh, okay, I can't wait to like use them this year coming. And I was like, I'm gonna do it and run it as an ad again. One in the springtime, one in the fall. You know, like same concept or whatever. You know, try it out, and then maybe.
Yeah, I mean, whether it works or not, like when you work with me,
it was fun too.
Oh, thank you.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, no,
I appreciate
cool.
that.
Yeah.
When you work with me, like I'm always pitching ideas, like, what do you think about this? And like trying, like it's just always like in the moment. I try not to be like going into like, oh, we need to have it like this. Sometimes like I'll do a layout like, hey, maybe this video could be like this. But I told you like we're just gonna improv, and on the phone, like the best way is just to improv, and I'll chop it up where it makes it look like we're doing it all professionally done one take.
Yeah.
When it was just like spread out everywhere, and it was just like, okay, that's my job to just like make it look like short form within 30, 40 seconds. And like B-roll footage where it's just not you standing in front of talking to the camera. It's like showing your service. Like it's all strictly like designed to.
Yeah. No, I loved it. It was great. I didn't know how it was gonna look until like it came. I was like, oh yeah, I guess we were doing that. I just didn't remember because they were just like so casual. Then I was like, oh, let me say it again, but like doing this. And no, it was nice. I liked it. I really did enjoy it. Usually I'm the cameraman for myself.
Yeah. So what I was saying, what I was trying to get to, I got sidetracked, but it's like when it comes to like holiday stuff, I like getting into like being as creative as we can. Like, okay, Valentine's Day, how can we mix it up with like making it relatable with, you know, what's current, and also like, because that's what sticks out.
Yeah.
Like people don't remember, like back to the Toyota video, like you're not gonna remember like the recent or like the overproduced like best car video commercial. Like you don't remember that. You usually remember like something that's like different.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, that's gonna stick out. And I told them like, this is gonna stick out more than any crazy over high quality produced video you guys ever do, just because it's different, has the name, has the trucks, it's related to the customers.
Yeah.
And it's different. People are gonna remember that and like come back to you. We're always like, hey, remember that one truck video?
Yeah.
You know, I don't even need to be there. Like, I don't care if I get the credit on that. It's just like you guys are the ones getting it. Like, whether you take the credit, oh yeah, I had the idea. It's like, it's helping you guys get your customers. You know, like I'm marketing myself. Like I help them.
Yeah.
So I'm already like marketing myself. Like, hey, you want to work with me? Like this is what the kind of stuff.
Here's some of my work right here. Yeah.
Yeah. But as far as them like taking it, like not saying they are or implying that they are, it's just like that's still like the marketing is working, because now they're going to you, asking you, and telling you like, I've seen it, whether you take the credit or not, like you're still benefiting off of that.
Yeah.
The whole purpose of it. So, yeah, I didn't want to end it on me, but
no, don't end it on me.
No, end it on you. Like, what's the so? Damn, I don't even know.
What's for dinner? No.
You guys ate already?
We did. We had cheeseburgers. Homemade cheeseburgers too.
You guys make them like on the grill or on the stove?
We did it in a pan.
On a pan?
Yeah. So we just like made the pat. My wife made the patties. I like mushed them up.
I like that, but just like grease always just flies everywhere, and you gotta clean up the.
Yeah. Usually you put like the top on too, though. It helps.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even so, you pull the top off, it sprays everywhere.
Yeah, I'm so used to that. So like whenever I do get a barbecue or like someone's barbecue, it's like, oh heck yeah, less of a mess.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean it's just cold right now. Usually I'm cooking outside all the time.
Oh really?
Yeah, when summertime is here, then
you don't get like coyotes or get coyotes and
Upper Valley. Yeah, we do right here.
What else do you guys get? That's it.
Mountain lions are in the farther back.
Like Lucerne or just like where the Walmart's
Part of
at?
Lucerne, but I know I used to work in this place in Upper Valley, like way deep in the mountains, and they had mountain lions. We'd see them on the cameras, and they'd be like, "Oh, can't go outside."
That's crazy.
There's a mountain lion. Yeah, so sometimes early morning you'll see the coyotes just like walking through the street.
So you can't leave no dogs out, like little ones, huh?
I mean, we have them out. They don't get, as long as you don't have holes in the fence, I guess.
But they jumped that.
I guess it could happen, you know, it honestly could.
Yeah.
But it hasn't happened yet to us.
That's pretty cool. Well, you don't have small ones, do you?
We do have a little one.
Oh.
Yeah, you had the big one you've seen, and then the little.
I guess the big one protects the small one.
Yeah, the little one, I don't know what it is. It came from like TJ. And they brought it over the border and stuff, and I love it. It looks like a mixture of it looks like an electrocuted dog to me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like it looks like it's supposed to be like a Maltese, but the hair looks crazy.
Damn. Yeah, those are the best dogs.
Yeah, he said those are the best ones. Ankle biters. Oh no.
Yeah, they're always barking at everything. I'm like, fucking shut up.
Yeah.
All right, well, we can edit there, man. No worries. I just cut it up like this.
No, it's fine. No, yeah. Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on and, trusting me in your house and asking you questions and talking to you.
No worries. You're welcome here anytime.
Oh, thank you.
Sometimes we have barbecues. Yeah, come over to get a go plate.
You invited us before, like, hey, you guys come over, and I didn't know you at the time, so I'm like, I don't know.
I know it's always weird when I do. Like I always do that though. I'm like
I'm the same way. My wife's like, she believes I'm autistic, so because I'm always like,
She believes I'm autistic.
sometimes
Maybe you have some kind of like small spectrum there.
I probably do, man. That's why I'm like, I'm not accepting it like, oh yeah, like, or give into it like that's my excuse, but it's more like, hey,
You know what's a common diagnosis is I don't know what the difference is exactly necessarily.
Asperger's?
No, ADD or ADHD is that we all have some little form of it, and that's,
yeah, definitely.
That's what a lot of it is.
I don't get a lot of social cues though.
Yeah. No, my wife, she gets. Oh, you don't like pick it up. No. My whole thing too. My wife, she gets on me about because one time I invited someone over to one of our get-togethers, and it was awkward. It was like someone I'd never met before.
I'm the same.
Yeah,
way.
and I was like, and they came and they were like
coming.
super aggressive there. And I was like, ooh.
Because I'm like, well, if I get invited, like, I'm gonna have a good time with them. So like, people are the same as me, and I'm like, that's where I mess up. Like, not everyone thinks like me, not everyone is like me. But yeah, like when I was younger, like people were like, oh yeah, it's kind of getting late. I'm like, I don't know where I stay up late. I was that person, bro. Like, oh yeah, my parents are like, oh, well, just go in your room so we don't have to be around them.
Yeah.
I was that person, bro. Like right now, like I'm still here. We're like, oh yeah, you already ended it.
No, you're good. He's already like making a sandwich. He's like, you want one?
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it, brother.